Alright, here we are with a new video, and today we're going to talk about wave progression. So essentially one of the 3 ways to apply progressive overload to your training programming. And first and foremost, before actually watching this video, I would really recommend you guys check out my last 2 videos about programming. That way you will have some context, but today we're going to talk about wave programming. So without further ado, let's dive into this video. Wave periodization is essentially a form of linear progression where you increase the weight much more aggressively, but you reset after every single mesocycle. Because of that, the weight moves in a wave-like pattern throughout a training program, hence why it's called wave periodization. And now let's take a look at how to actually run a wave program. So let's say on week 1 we're gonna start off with a 3x10 on 10 kilograms, just giving ourselves relatively high reps to start off a training program with to accumulate some volume. And a 3x10 is always going to be relatively easy on week 1 because we're always going to give ourselves a relatively easy week to start out with. Now, just like on a linear program, we're going to increase the weight every single week moving on from week 1. But on linear program, we're going to increase the weight by about 1 or maybe 2.5 kilograms every single week. On a wave program though, we're going to increase our weight by up to 10 kilograms every single week. So we're going to increase our weight much more aggressively compared to a linear program, and let's say on this example we're going to increase by about 7.5 kilograms every single week. So week 1 is going to be a 3x10 on 10 kilograms, week 2 a 3x10 on 17.5 kilograms, and on week 3 we're going to be doing a 3x10 on 25 kilograms. So week 3 is pretty much going to be the max amount of weight that we can do for our sets of 10. So we're probably only going to do one set of 10 with about 25 kilograms and then get the rest of our 3x10 with lighter weight. But once again, in week 3 we filled out how much weight we can use for our sets of 10. Just like on a linear program, once you fill out a rep range, that is when you're going to drop the amount of reps that you're going to do. And this is also where we see the big difference between a linear and a wave program. As we are increasing weight much more aggressively on a wave program compared to a linear program, we cannot keep doing that every single week. So what you do on a wave program is that you're going to drastically decrease the weight once you finish the mesocycle and you filled out that rep range. This will allow us to once again in the next mesocycle make those aggressive jumps without getting to very heavy weight very quickly. So on week 4, we're gonna go all the way down to a 3x8 at about 12.5 kilograms. And this drop is going to allow us to have a very easy week, reset and recover to prepare ourselves for the coming few weeks where once again, we're going to make very aggressive jumps to fill out our sets of 8. Just like on a linear program, you can essentially keep repeating this process all the way down to sets of 5 and sets of 3, but probably the vast majority of you really don't have to go down to doubles. So once you essentially reach your top set of 3, that is when you're gonna go all the way up to 10 reps and restart this entire program all over again. Note that in this example, I always used an amount of weight to start out with and increasing it by X amount of kilograms every single week, but the vast majority of the wave programs that I've seen at least always work with percentages of your 1 rep max. So Juggernaut and 531 are good examples of wave programs that always use the percentage instead of making certain weight jumps. So let's take Juggernaut for example, which for sets of 10 is going to prescribe 60% for a 5x10 on week 1, 67.5% for a 3x10 on week 2, and then a top set on 70% for a sets of 10 on week 3. Compared to using weights, this actually makes running a wave program much easier since it's very hard to actually determine by how many kilograms to increase every single week. But if you're running a program based on a 1 rep max percentage, it's actually much easier to actually run a wave program since you just have to calculate the percentage of your estimated 1 rep maxes. And just like on a linear program, you always have to give yourself the ebb and flow of training. So week 1 is going to be very easy, and throughout the mesocycle you always build yourself up towards heavier weight and higher percentages. This is very important, since like I talked about in previous videos, you cannot train hard every single workout because you'll simply burn yourself out very quickly. And by doing a lot of easy sets throughout your mesocycle, you are really going to dial in good technique, and it's going to prepare you the best possible for the very heavy workout towards the end of every single mesocycle. And now let's talk about the benefits of wave periodization, and the biggest one by far is that you actually keep your very intense sessions much further apart. Because of the fact that you reset your weight every single mesocycle, the first few weeks of every single mesocycle are going to be very easy, which is going to allow you to do a lot of reps with very clean technique, which is going to dial in good form and prepare you once again pretty good for the end of your mesocycle, where you're going to do the more intense workouts. The downside of this though is that towards the end of every single mesocycle, you can kind of feel like you're not used to lifting heavy weights anymore, since you have kind of decreased weight so aggressively after the last mesocycle, and you haven't really touched anything heavy throughout the mesocycle as you're building up towards your heavy week. This is a problem that I had way back when I actually started running wave programs, and I actually solved this by doing the combination of a volume day where you use waves to kind of progress throughout the weeks, with an intensity day where you kind of worked up towards some heavier weight. Nothing crazy though, but I'm going to talk about this combination of volume and intensity days in a future video. Using wave periodization is extremely effective on exercises which actually benefit from a lot more recovery, so very big compound exercises. And I started using this type of periodization on my squat, my weighted pull-up and my dips a couple of months ago, and the results have been pretty damn good. So I'm gonna keep doing this for the next few months and see where I go and where I actually end up with those exercises. But right now I feel like I benefit hugely from doing a lot of submaximal work at the start and the middle of my mesocycle, and only really going heavy and doing very intense sets with on my compound movements towards the end of my mesocycle. So I'm going to give you guys updated on how I actually progress over the next few months. But with that being said, that's essentially all I want to talk about in today's video. So as always, like and subscribe if you guys haven't already, and share the video. Any more questions, video ideas or advice, leave it down below in the comment section. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys for watching, and latest. And like you guys saw, I used a new mic that I actually bought last week, so if the sound quality is a bit better, I hope it is. Let me know down below in the comment section. See you guys in the next video. Latest.